Good morning, everyone. As my introduction stated, I am a Kufu Nana Aba Insia Opari. I bring you greetings from Akunfu Hini Nana AC Dinizulu and Akunfu Hini Nana Adjua Opari, who I represent as a Kunfu Panin of the Onipa Abusia Bosumfie in Washington, D.C. Today, we begin celebrating over 50 years of Akan culture in America and the pioneers who laid the foundation. I have the privilege of summarizing those accomplishments and foundation bricks laid by Nana Yao Opare Dinizulu I, which transplanted the Akan culture from Ghana, West Africa, to America. Nana Yao Opare Dinizulu I, lovingly called Nana, was a blessed man sent by the Abosun, the gods, and Insamanfo, the ancestors, to revive and disseminate in America the lost culture of our Akan African ancestors. Few people parallel the contributions of Nana Dinizulu I in perpetuating Akan culture and heritage in the United States. As a young boy, Nana Dinizulu's first grandmother spoke to him about a land far away that he would one day return to and claim his destiny. As a young man, Nana Dinizulu I began worshiping the gods and ancestors of Africa during the early 1940s. His vision, which became his mission, was to create institutions that reflected our African traditions, history, and culture. He wanted those of African descent to know who we are, where we came from, why we are here, and where we are going. To that end, he left a legacy of accomplishments that continue to help us hold steadfast and faithful to the traditions of our African foreparents. The first organizations instituted by Nana to perpetuate African traditions and customs include the following. During the 1940s, Nana Dinizulu formed the Dinizulu Dancers, Singers, and Drummers, one of the first world-renowned African dance troupes. This company performed for such dignitaries and heads of state, such as Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, President of Zambia, Sekou Touré, President of Guinea, and Malcolm X. In 1947, Nana Dinizulu I formed an organization called the Ghanaians for the purpose of exposing African Americans to African singing, dancing, history, and culture. In 1953, Nana Dinizulu I co-founded the first African religious group in America, known as Dambalawedo. This organization perpetuated the culture of the Akans of West Africa and the culture of Haiti. The first African American Day celebration was organized by Nana Dinizulu I in 1964 and celebrated at Queensbridge Park in New York City. The flyer that is being shown is from a 1970 celebration. Before I list the following accomplishments, which are specific to Nana Dinizulu I's perpetuation of the Akan culture in America, I have to put those accomplishments in context with the following narrative. In 1965, Nana Yao Opare Dinizulu I, who was already a chief priest in his own right in America, made a journey through space and time, connecting the past, present, and future. This was a year that he took his first trip to Africa, knowing that he, quote, had to go someplace and bring something back, end of quote. Upon his arrival in Ghana, Nana Dinizulu I met Ni Ama Amantefu, a Ga from the Accra area of Ghana. They became like brothers. It was Mr. Amantefu who took Nana Dinizulu I to Kumbiase Latte to meet Nana Akua Opare Bia, chief priestess of the Akonade Shrine in Ghana. As they were driving up to Kumbiase Latte, Nana said, "You know, this place seems very familiar." Mr. Amantefu laughed. When the two stopped at a place called Aburi, Nana stated, "I could have sworn my whole life was spent in that area." As they continued up the mountain to Kumbiase Latte, Nana Dinizulu I stated that he felt an extreme kinship to the area. After arriving in Late and meeting Nana Opare, Nana Dinizulu I stated that he was, quote, spellbound by being there and felt I had been there for at least part of my life and perhaps all of it, end of quote. In addition to meeting Nana Opare, Nana Dinizulu I also met Nana Opare mother, who was alive at that time. Nana Dinizulu I stayed with Nana Opare for some time, but had to return to Takoradi for a short while. When he returned to Late, Nana Opare revealed to Nana Dinizulu I what had happened in his absence. Nana Dinizulu I was told that Nana Opare mother had gone into a trance of possession by Nana Atridan, a female ancestral deity from the Agona clan of Ashanti. Nana Atridan was one of the great founders and priestesses of the Akwapim area in Ghana. And when she died, she, quote, didn't die. She climbed a magic rope and went to the heavens, end of quote. During the possession, Nana Atridan revealed that Nana Dinizulu I was one of the lost sons who came back to take the shrines of Africa across the waters. And she, Nana Atridan, was part of Nana Dinizulu's first ancestry, along with Nana Opare. Nana Atridan also revealed Nana Dinizulu's first family background, including how two of his ancestors were taken to the New World. That one ancestor, Nana Kwame Mensah, who was also an ancestor of Nana Opare, was a very important priest. And when it was discovered that the men were missing, libations were constantly poured and prayers were sent up repeatedly, asking the ancestors from across the water to come back home. Nana Dinizulu I later stated that he realized he was fulfilling the prophecy and answering the prayers of his ancestors, when now his family in Ghana is telling him, quote, your ancestors are calling you, end of quote. After a great deal of divination, the elders of Late asked Nana Dinizulu I if he would be willing to take the shrine to America and take the ablutions and medicines necessary to do so. Nana Dinizulu I agreed. The first deity given to Nana Dinizulu I to bring back was Nana Asujbi, the Abrafo, the executioner and healer, who was a very important deity of the Akanade shrine in Late. The other deities that returned with Nana Dinizulu I included Nana Esi Ketawa, the peacemaker in Ochimi, and Nana Adade Kofi, the warrior and protector. In summary, Nana's accomplishments during 1965 include the following. Nana Dinizulu I fulfilled a prophecy of returning to Africa, learned of his heritage, met some of his family, and reclaimed his destiny. Nana Dinizulu I established relationships with Nana Opare as family and as chief priest, respectively, which would enable them both to work closely together, propagating and perpetuating the traditional religion of their ancestors. Nana Dinizulu I was the first African American to be given these sacred shrines of the Akan pantheon, Nana Asujbi, Nana Esi Ketawa, and Nana Adade Kofi, to bring to the U.S. Nana Dinizulu I brought these Abasun to America to be worshiped and revered by the African Americans, which laid the foundation and initiated the practice of the Akan religion in America. In addition to receiving the shrines, Nana Dinizulu I became the first African American to be given the titles in Late Ghana of Omanhene, King of the Akans in America, and the Akunfohene, Chief Priest of Akans in America. In the years to follow, Nana Dinizulu I was the first to be given other shrines of the Akan pantheon, including the sacred shrine of Nana Kanade Panin, one of the most powerful of all the gods of Ghana. When Nana Dinizulu I was given this shrine in 1971, Nana Dinizulu I was not only the first African American to receive this shrine, he was also considered the owner of Kakonade in America. This shrine was given to him by the Asafo of Kubiase Late, who is the one in charge of Akanade. It was not given to him by Nana Opare. Then in 1972, during his visit to Ghana, Nana Dinizulu I was spiritually guided to find the original shrine of Nana Kumi in Nsaba, Ghana. Nana Dinizulu I was given this original shrine, which belonged to his family, to take back to America. Other organizations created by Nana Dinizulu I to assist in perpetuating the Akan culture include the establishment of the Basum Jemawoji in 1967. It was the first religious organization based on Akan culture and traditions of Ghana, West Africa. The incorporation of the Ames of Majawe Cultural Center in 1968. This center was established for the purpose of teaching the diverse and multi-ethnic cultures of Africa. Realizing that the customary rites of passage of the Akans are steeped in religious significance and are very important ceremonies that contribute towards the well-being of the individual and society, Nana Dinizulu I was the first to institute these traditional rites in America. They include the first Arerije, or Akan traditional marriage ceremony, performed in America by Nana Dinizulu I in 1968. The first Identoa, or the Akan traditional naming ceremony for infant child. This was performed in the U.S. by Nana Dinizulu I in 1968 also. In addition to the first Ayiye, or traditional funeral rites, was performed in America by Nana in 1972. The first Yegorabra puberty rites ceremony, or the Akan coming of age ceremony for young girls, was performed in America by Nana Dinizulu I in 1982. Nana Dinizulu I instituted the profession of Akan priesthood in America in 1967, when he initiated his first priest, Nana Yao Opare, whom he trained and graduated in 1969. The second person initiated as an Akan priest in America during 1967 was Nkobia Hene Ajabo Waldron. The first group of Akan priests was initiated by Nana Dinizulu I in 1971, then trained and graduated by Nana Dinizulu I in 1974. Since that time, Nana Dinizulu I trained and graduated many groups of Akan priests in America. Most of the African Americans initiated as Akan priests were initiated by Nana Dinizulu I, or by someone who was initiated by Nana Dinizulu I. If not initiated by Nana Dinizulu I, or by someone who was initiated by Nana Dinizulu I, they became aware of the Akan priesthood as a result of Nana Dinizulu I's efforts. Nana Dinizulu I was the first to organize charter flights to Ghana, West Africa, a practice initiated by him in 1971 that allowed hundreds of African Americans to visit Africa. For his inaugural trip, Nana Dinizulu I took over 250 people to Ghana. During his visit to Ghana in 1971, Nana Dinizulu I was the first to meet and sit in state with the Asantehene of Kumasi, Nana Otumfuo Opuko Wari II. The Asantehene is the absolute monarch of the Ashanti people. During his lifetime, Nana Dinizulu I sat in state with the Asantehene 4 times, first in 1971, the second in 1972, third in 1985, and the fourth in 1986. Nana Dinizulu was also the first Akan American to be permitted by the reigning Agona Hene, Nana Yedom Boache II, to enter the sacred shrine of Akumfu Anache. This honor occurred during visits to Ghana in 1972 and 1986. This constant and unprecedented permission to visit the sacred shrine of the most revered priest of all Ghana, Akumfu Anache, was granted whenever Nana Dinizulu I made pilgrimages to Agona Ashanti. This privilege illustrated the recognition and acknowledgement of Nana Dinizulu I as Oman Hene and Akumfu Hene of Akan Americans by all the distinguished kings and chief priests of Ghana. In addition to being permitted to enter the Okunfo Onachi Shrine in Agona in 1986, Nana Dinizulu I and his people were permitted to enter the Okunfo Onachi Shrine in Arakugwa, where the entire priest population put on a great Akan in Nana Dinizulu I's honor. Another historic and monumental first occurred in 1971 when Nana Dinizulu I arranged for Nana Akua Opare to leave the shores of Africa and travel to America as a guest of Nana Dinizulu I. This was such an important feat because chief priests were forbidden by their Abusia to travel more than 50 miles away from their main shrines. However, for this historic occasion and the family recognition being made, Nana Opare was given permission to travel by the Abusia and Impanimfo. This accomplishment of Nana Dinizulu I opened the door and paved the way for Nana Opare to make later trips to America and for others to establish relationships with her, which assisted in spreading the Akan culture. This accomplishment of Nana Dinizulu I also made it possible for other priests and dignitaries to travel from Ghana to America for the first time as guests of Nana Dinizulu I. These priests and dignitaries include Akua Dankor, Akunfo Tunana Surgery, traveled here in 1971. Akua Chedawa, also a priest to Nana Asurgery, who traveled here to 1972. Jayesa Hene Nana Dada Soba Hene, the divisional chief of Ashanti, one of the paramount chiefs of the Ashanti Jayesi clan, who came to visit the shrine and strengthen the development of the chieftainship and laws of the shrine. You see Nana Dada Soba Hene on your far right. And here you see Nana Dada Soba Hene standing with Nana Akua Opare and Nana Yao Opare Dinizulu I. Nana Abinadankor, the Obokwesi Akunfu of Akunfe Akrafa Sarpong, which is located in the central region of Ghana, traveled here in 1976. Nana Sewa, a powerful Adadi Kofi Akunfu from Ejisu Ashanti region of Ghana, traveled here in 1981. Akunfu Akosia Foriwa, a Nana Asi Akunfu, also traveled here in 1981. Nana Dinizulu I established the first Akan shrine house in Washington, D.C. in 1971 and placed its care and maintenance in the hands of Akunfo Aba Nsia Opare and Akunfo Yao Opare, who were Nana's first initiates from Washington, D.C. and the surrounding areas. Nana Dinizulu I was introduced to the Washington, D.C. community by Nana Kwabena Brown, who held forums in his home where Nana Dinizulu I was invited to speak about the Akan religion and culture. Nana Dinizulu I was the first to establish in America the traditional chieftaincy structure of the Akans when he installed the first divisional chiefs. The first Ankobia Hene installed in America by Nana Dinizulu I in 1971 was Nana Ajabo Waldron. The Akonfobia Hene is the caretaker of the palace or the temple. The first Nifa Hene, the representative for the chief, Nana Kwesi Ajaman, was installed by Nana Dinizulu I in 1985. The first Karanta Hene, Nana Kwame Amante Denti, who served as the caretaker of the land and as heirs of the chieftaincy, was installed in 1986, along with the first Adanta Hene, Nana Yao Opare, who served as the legs of the nation for the chief. While Nana Dinizulu I was the first to be given shrines of the Akan pantheon, in 1972, Nana Dinizulu I became the first and only Akan American to discover an ancient shrine previously worshipped by his own ancestors. The shrine discovered was that of Nana Kumi. It was the original shrine that belonged to Nana Dinizulu I's ancestors in Aburi, Nsaba, Ghana. This original shrine was given to Nana Dinizulu I to bring back to America to be worshipped and revered. I have mentioned Akan shrines that Nana Dinizulu I received. In addition, in 1972, Nana Dinizulu gave Nana Opare the powerful shrine of Eshu to solidify the bond between the shrine in Kubiase Latte and the Basun Jemiwoje in America. Nana Dinizulu was also the first to institute and celebrate in America Akan religious ceremonies and festivals, including the Ojira, the Akan New Year Festival, first celebrated in America in 1968. In 1970, there was a Bimbe held in honor of Nana Asurjabi, Nana Dadi Kofi, and Nana A.C. Ketawa. The Akom officially took place in 1971. In 1972, the Nana Asurjabi Festival, celebrated in honor of the Obasun Nana Asurjabi, was instituted. In 1973, began the celebration of the Nana Kumi Festival in honor of the Obasun Nana Kumi. The Aheneda Festival, held in honor of the king, was first celebrated in America in 1974. The Nana Asua Bortapre Festival, celebrated in honor of the Obasun Nana Asua Bortapre, was instituted in 1981. Nana Dinizulu's first birthright, his genuine love and admiration for African culture, and his institution building gained him much recognition in America and from Africans abroad. As a result, Nana Dinizulu I was the first to be installed in Ghana, West Africa on numerous occasions and given 6 chieftaincy titles, including Omahini, King of the Akans in America, bestowed upon him in 1965. Akufohene, Chief Priest of Akans in America, bestowed upon him in 1965. He was installed and given the title of Mankrado, a divisional chief of Nsababori, which is located in the eastern region of Ghana, in 1972. In 1985, Nana Dinizulu I was the first African American to be installed as a divisional chief and given the title of Asimwahini of Agogo, and appointed chief representative in America of the Agogo state by Nana Akuoko Sapon, who recognized Nana Dinizulu I as one of the most important kings in America. Nana Sapon met Nana Dinizulu I in 1982, after being appointed by the Asantehene to visit America on behalf of the Ashanti Nation. Nana Sapon is a paramount chief to over 200,000 people and more than 60 minor chiefs who swear allegiance to him as he does to the Asantehene. In 1968, Nana Dinizulu I was installed as the Ohene Edina in honor of the first priest of Edina, Nana Ekwa Abrako, the divisional chief of Edina, Elmina, located in the central region of Ghana. In 1990, Nana Dinizulu I was installed as Ankobia Hene, or the divisional chief of Erakugwa, located in the eastern region of Ghana. On February the 10th, 1991, Nana Yao Opare Dinizulu I began his ascension to the village of our ancestors in Samando. Nana Dinizulu I's accomplishments, his legacy to us all, remain visible testaments to his commitment to African culture, and they enable us to maintain and continue to perpetuate Akan African heritage here in America. However, Nana Dinizulu's first accomplishments are more than just a list of firsts. For each achievement, each recognition by African dignitaries, each ceremony, each priest initiated, trained, and graduated, each installment, each title given, each song sang, each dance danced, was a foundation brick in the building, establishment, and perpetuation of the Akan culture in America. Those bricks were laid by Nana Yao Opare Dinizulu I. They were the foundation of Akan culture that he left for us to benefit from, perpetuate, and maintain here in America. A culture that we must embellish, for as Nana says, and I quote, we must embellish upon what our ancestors have done, end of quote. I close this presentation with a comment about Nana Yao Opare Dinizulu I's relationship with Nana Akua Opare. The vision of Nana Yao Opare Dinizulu I was to create institutions that reflected our African heritage and culture, and for those of African heritage to know and perpetuate the culture of our African ancestors. Nana Akua Opare vision, we were told, was of lost sons and daughters returning to their true home. Because of the visions of these two chief priests, Akan culture and religion took root and flourishes in America. It was not by chance that these two, moving simultaneously on different spectrums of the same path, descendants of the same family, were brought together by the Abusia. It was the reunion of family from the past, acknowledgement and fulfillment of prophecies in the present, and merging of two complementary visions which paved the way for the two to work closely together in the future to establish and perpetuate the traditional religion and culture of our African ancestors here in America. It was the intertwined destinies of Nana Yao Opare Dinizulu I and Nana Akua Opare to open doors for each other and support each other. For after all, they were, as Nana says, Abusia Bako, Mwaja Inso Bako, one family, one blood. Madasi.